a kneeling angel praying to the gods and Triceratops. An unlikely duo, but this game is a great friend of unlikely duos. And there we have a murderer, a dark creature. But we gave her a second chance. But does she deserve it? Let's see. Looking about cautiously, Wenduag watches the people around her, obviously displeased, but the moment she sees you, sweet, deeply respectful expression appears on her face. Master, may I tell you again how happy I am that you spared me and allowed me to serve you? I hope you learned your lesson back in the caves. Yes, Master. I put myself entirely into your hands and humbly hope that under your leadership I will be able to gain true power and become worthy of your respect. It's all I dream of. I mean, it's dangerous. As long as you are more powerful than anyone else, she will always be your servant, but the nanosecond someone approaches that is more powerful than you, she will instantly stab you in the back. Are you used to your new powers yet? Oh yes, such incredible power. The gifts of demons can't compare to it, just as the demons themselves can't compare to you. I have a few questions for you. I accepted you as my leader and followed you to the surface. I have no secrets from you. Ask me anything, Master. You used to think Hozilla was your leader, but... Ah, Hozilla. She was nobody and I was never loyal to her. She lacked the true power you have, and I'm only willing to offer my obedience to a true leader. How can I trust your words? Master, you defeated me, grabbed me by the scruff of the neck, and made me face my own weakness. I remember that lesson forever, and will never again dare stand in your way. Please give me a chance to prove it. Allow me to kill 100, a dozen, 1,000 enemies in your honor. I know I started with 100. What do you think of life on the surface? The ways of uplanders seem strange and even silly at times, but if a hero like you, Master, was born among them, I am ready to become one of them and adopt their way of life. Don't you regret the things you've done? All I regret is that I didn't realize your true greatness from the beginning, and that I dared to fight against you. Okay. Yeah, don't waste another moment of your precious time, Master. What the heck is wrong with this girl? Where does this Master fetish comes from? Learn. And now you're not the only mongrel on the surface. Got any plans for the future? Plans? You have too high an opinion of me. To be honest, I've never had less of a plan than I do right now. I thought everything would be simple. We'd go to the surface, become crusaders, and somehow figure things out later, but later is now. Sal tells me not to rush things, but he always said that. If I listen to him, I'll have moss growing out of my ears before a single thing changes. One thing's for sure. As long as you're our leader, there is hope. Things are always happening around you, and it made me realize that I need to stick with you. If I do, one day I'll find myself scaling a citadel of evil. A bow blessed by all the gods clamped between my teeth, about to plant an arrow in the chest of some ancient evil demon. I'd rather do all that without Wenduag breathing down my neck, but that's your decision. I won't argue with it. I'll just make sure that when she does stab you in the back, she doesn't have time to sink the blade in too deep. Thank you. Your people have come to the surface. Does this mean you are no longer Neathers? Ha! That's a good question. We're not fully Uplanders yet. I think we are now Uplander Neathers. Although, if you think about it, we used to be neither Uplanders. After all, our ancestors came to the caves from the surface, and now I've given myself a headache. Maybe I'll leave the task of renaming our people for a better time. So long. Mongrel. Now we have mongrels. Chief Sal. I said no, stop asking me, Chief. Sal stands, slouching, staring at the ground. You have to learn. Look at me. I'm old. What do I know? Kavesh? And you? You know everything around here. Jesh, you do. You are young and strong. You can lash dozens years. You always said I'm not one of you. How can I be chief now? I'm loner by nature. Who's going to listen to me? Half the time I don't even listen to me. It's a new time for niches. Lan, you're young and you're from the new time. They're confused up here under the sky, but they get used to it. I won't. I know nothing here. You know everything. Lawful. A decrepit old man can't command an army. Boy. And I need a commander, Lan. That's a very evil, nasty thing to say. And this is lawful? Why is lawful in this game always something rude and terrible? Lan is silent for a long while, but then nods. If the crusade needs it, I'll give it a shot. When the mongrels come running to you crying and demanding sellback, don't say I didn't warn you. They won't even remember old Shal with you around. Hey, don't rush me into becoming chief. I meant that I'll give it a try, nothing more than that. And after a few days, I'll come to you, Commander, with a report. You just wait. Alrighty. Uplanders. Nothing's like it's supposed to be. What is it, Commander? How's life on the surface for the mongrels? They are frightened. They are trying not to show it. One of them was pulled out of the sewers. He couldn't take it in the open. Decided to live in there, but they're all very curious. And when you're curious, you stop being frightened. Lan is keeping an eye on them. He doesn't bother me unless he needs to. They keep calling us tieflings here. Shouldn't it be tieflings? With an H. The young ones, big fights. But it will pass. No one's trying to drive us out, so that's something at least. I mean this tick. That's always happening when he's doing this loud. So now, and what do you think of life on the surface? Vocal. Truth be told, it is frightening. Strange sounds, no ceiling, smells like something is shard here, but then again I don't cough as much as I did down there. The sun is nice too. Oh, I go to the priests of Yomide. They give me some nice sermons, just lovely. And I still, it's not my word. Stuff for the young ones. You definitely have a stick. How's Lan getting on with his responsibilities? Oh, Sal sighs heavily. He doesn't want to, but it can't be helped. Everyone goes to him with their troubles and cares. He's carrying our Lan, he's kind, like his father used to be. He helps everyone. When I say he'd make a good chief, he gets all riled up like I just called him a cave schluck. Strange, but he might be one of us after all, more than I thought. He satisfied my curiosity. It fetched my pleasure. Alrighty, what else do we have? Any more conversations? Let's talk to Amber. Maybe she has anything to say to us? And so, yeah, we could also... Lady Konomi. Ooh, Amber. Have to go. Ciao, Bella.
We march ahead.
Go. Pain shines in the old man's eyes. His fuzzy grey hair is dirty and hangs down in unkempt strands. He sighs heavily. He ran away, packed his things in the dead of night and disappeared. Must have gone to find some demons to fight. He is a Khalid. His entire clan are blood enemies of demons. They also worship the god Gorum. Did you see that straw wolf hanging from his neck? It's their clan talisman. It's called the Little Fang. I put in so much effort to get him to see the light of Yomide, but he imbibed his loyalty to Gorum with his mother's milk. I told him, you can't fight the darkness if you are guided by anger. If rage overwhelms you, you can't. You will either perish or become a villain, or get so used to war that you'll forget what it's like to live as a human. But he only ever had one thing on his mind, vengeance. For his family, for his ancestors, for his wounded honor. I tried to find him. They say he's been going to the tavern a lot recently. Everbright Crusaders don't go to taverns, we keep ourselves clean. Body and spirit. But Morvek didn't go there to drink or play dice. He was looking for a guide, and he found one. A Khalid too, an old one. A descendant of the Sarkorians. Even the demons couldn't force them out of these lands. They say Morvek wanted to go toward Wintersoon and an ancient Sarkorian settlement. But I don't know what he wanted there or where exactly to look for him. But there are a lot of demons in that region. I can't send scouts there with an order to leave no stone unturned. There will be too many skirmishes with monsters and huge losses. So we're going to find the boy. Horgulskvul. Friend. I have to go. Nothing more to say here. One-eyed devil. Okay, let's go. One-eyed devil. A short, chubby tiefling with a golden eye patch spewing tobacco between his feet, and takes another pinch from a tobacco box adorned with jewels. A fine day, Commander. Welcome to the One-Eyed Devil's trading house. His proud manner suggests that each word begins with a capital letter and perhaps even continues in capital letters as well. A trading house is just a shop. Oh, that depends. There was a time when I had nothing in my pockets but holes in dreams and words, but I didn't consider myself poor. No, but did I? What? No. I consider myself a rich man who was temporarily down on his luck. In a previous life I was called Saul. And some even said, better call Saul. Optimism is important not only on the battlefield, Commander. Whether you fight demons or some drug kingpins, you always need your optimism. You are the leader of a victorious army that will be chopping all the demons into mincemeat sooner or later. I am the owner of a trade empire, which, as you see, is only starting to grow. I also thought about going into the chicken business, but I had bad experiences with that one. How did a tiefling end up on the side of the Crusaders? Well, the answer is simple. The simplest thing there is. This is a good world and I like living in it. Besides, it's the only one we've got. I'd love to know what's going on in the heads of the dimwits who are helping the demons destroy it. My best guess is that their horns grow inward, so there's no room for brains. I'm from Cheliax. Tieflings don't surprise anyone there, and they don't like demons any more than we do. And why should they? The gods went to all the trouble of creating this world. Even Lord Asmodeus and his devils helped with the construction. And now these freeloaders show up after all the hard work is done just to gorge and break things. It doesn't matter who you pray to, if you want to live, it's your duty to help. Isn't that a risky name for a store for crusaders? Oh, yes. A week doesn't go by without some dimwit boiling over. Well, they don't pay me to explain the difference between allies and enemies. Devils and demons, Lord Asmodeus, and all the riffraff like Baphomet and Descartes. So they can go hang. The tiefling spits between his feet and swiftly places another pinch of chewing tobacco in his mouth. Here's what I think. You like it, you buy it. You don't like it, keep moving. If you're spoiling for a fight, take yourself off to the tavern. Why are your prices so high? We're saving the world from demons, and that includes you. Oh, that's some claim. Did you hear that, good people? First of all, my prices are perfectly fair. That's no higher than you'd find anywhere else. And second, who's saving who here? Are you prepared to eat bark and fight with rocks and sticks? You know, I have open contracts with a dozen of suppliers. I arrange deliveries and do whatever it takes to get you sharper weapons, better magical items, better food, and you're throwing the extra expense in my face? This is the thanks I get for honest work? Ugh, humans. What happened to your eye? Should I make up a story about a heroic fight with a horde of demons? Truth be told, this is how it happened. Back when I was a snot-nosed kid, I had just opened my first business selling pies on the street. Local lads quickly took notice of me and offered me protection in return for a small share of profits. The usual, you know, but I was so young, inexperienced and greedy, so I told them to bugger off. Well, they caught me and taught me a lesson. They took it too far, though. I paid for the lesson with my eye, not just bumps and bruises. It's funny to remember it now, but back then, while it was happening, I was so scared. I thought they'd beat me to death. I remember I came running home in tears, and my mom just started screaming. I didn't have a clue why, and then I looked in the mirror and saw there were just shreds and mush where one of my eyes should be. I've remembered that lesson all my life. Ever since that day, when I started business, I find some reliable business partners first. If I'd been born in a merchant family, my parents would have warned me about this and about plenty of other things too, but I was a poor lad, so I had to learn everything the hard way. It's a miracle how many times I escaped death by a hair's breadth. In fact, the lucky I always lost was one eye. I can't afford a new eye now, of course, but you know, I just can't find the time. It will cost a tiny sum, and I don't want to take it out of the earnings, and besides, being the one-eyed devil is a big selling point for me. I'd be a fool to get my eye back only to have to keep it hidden under a patch. Have you heard about my new powers? What do you make of them? What kind of question is that to other people? Have you heard about my powers? What the that's not a question. That's not a discussion part. Let people ask you about your powers, but don't tell. It's just cringe Maximus. Yeah, I've heard all about them. Cringe. What's that to say, dude? You haven't been dealt a great hand, though it's hardly the worst. Being an angel is a burdensome thing. It's too airy-fairy for my liking. All that sympathy and compassion. What does a commander need all that for? It's pointless. But don't worry about it. I'm not judging you. Asmodeus, forgive me, but if you had the power of a Fae or an Asator, that would be a disaster. Champion of freedom and good, yeah. Show me your wares, please. Let's see what he has. Headband of luring charisma. I don't care. Infiltrator's armor. Haramaki. Infiltrator's armor. Adamantine scale mail. Holy rapier. Thundering dart. Apprentice lockpick. We don't need lockpicks. Expert lockpick, but let's get it anyway. I expected a couple more items, but I guess this is it. Done. Let's go into the inn now.
Let us not hesitate.
A mighty Triceratops. Maybe wait here.
Stand ready.
Wait, that's not the right inn. Let's see if there's anything here anyway. Bismuth? No. Maybe someone is at the second floor. There was one of our companions who was there. I remember that.
I will not falter.
Tell me how you almost caught the Spinner of Nightmares. 6 months ago. Ah, we heard that already. Go. Ciao. Yes, yes. Nenio. Check out this mask I found. There's writings on the inside. Nenio snatches the mask from your hands and examines it from every angle. It looks like an average mask. Smells like mold. Tastes like yuck! Disgusting. And the eye holes are... She puts the mask on and looks at you through it. Utterly unremarkable. And yet I sense some hidden magic in the mask. I'd bet my encyclopedia that it must be the answer to one of the riddles of those statues in the nameless ruins. Writing on the inside looks very much like one of the answers. With a sigh, she hands the mask back to you. All we have to do now is find 4 such masks and bring them to the statues. You won't forget to take me with you when you head to solve the statues' riddles, will you? Better write it down somewhere. Nenio is extremely interested in visiting the nameless ruins after we find all 4 masks. Bye. Okay. What else do we have here? Nothing, 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 perfectly nothing. Okay, ciao. There's a real tavern, right? Yeah, we need to go there to find our boy. Then we're going to this winter soon. We have a couple quests there now. Jewelry Artisan, there, Half Measure Tavern. Yes, there you are.
Our time has come. Godspeed.
Oh, can I help you? I know what you're asking. How did someone like me end up in the lands? A warrior without kith or kin, or godly blessing, or crusader's mantle? Many have asked the same thing. Tell me about your past. I was born in Daggermark, the city of thieves, murderers and poisoners. I soldiered for a while, served in the infantry under Jello Klovish. It didn't take long to realize there's 2 types of Daggermark soldiers. There's the dumb thugs who need to be bossed around, and then there's the venturous lads who use the title to do murder and extortion for hire. You can guess which ones I fell in with. I knew the rules of the game, and the wealthy often called on me to solve their problems or get a leg up onto their competition. Then I got into a quarrel with an officer, and I left the service and became an independent contractor. It turns out outside Daggermark there's a lot fewer specialists who fit my profile. A proper assassin can get repaid pretty well. The job took me all over Avestan before I came here. You could have protected your home and served your own people, and yet you chose the work of an assassin. I don't understand you. I don't see much difference between a soldier and an assassin. They do the same job, take orders from the same lords and masters, except that soldiers get paid less and have to obey their dumb sergeants. That's a very narrow-minded point of view. Do you have any family? My people don't brook trade with assassins. The family I'm from are honest merchants and loyal worshippers of Torak, but now they must think I'm dead. They'd be appalled if they found out how things really stood. The dwarf grows grim and his strong teeth clench his pipe until it cracks. As for my other family, I got one of those two. On my travels I met a woman, fair and kind. For her I laid down my weapon, got a house, became a simple city dweller. We had a daughter. We lived like that for a year and a half before the road called me back. I loved her, but that life, it was like I was being buried alive. I was ready to kill myself just to end the torturous meaninglessness. Only the road could cure me of those thoughts, but for some reason I keep going back to that house I once lived in, to the woman I once loved, to the daughter I don't even really know and who doesn't know me. I watch from afar. I don't have the right to return to their lives. Mora, my daughter, I don't know what she is to me. The biggest mistake of my life or the greatest mark I leave on the world. You had a family to take care of and you abandoned them. That's despicable. The dwarf's jaw freezes and there's anger in his eyes. You're right, I shouldn't have let you wheedle that out of me. What brought you to the World Wound? The dwarf shrugs. There's a lot of good shops here and not many competitors. A lot of dangerous demons and every one of them has gobbled up someone's son, wife or best friend. And who do they come to for vengeance? To the Crusaders? They're bound up by their orders and they lack the necessary skills. The people who hire me don't want to wait until the crusade ends, if it ever will. That's where I come in, ready to deliver targeted vengeance today for a generous fee. What's your opinion on the crusade? I'd lie if I said I see much difference between me and the Crusaders. Times now aren't like they were during the First Crusade. Nowadays, the ranks of the Crusaders are filled with fugitives, opportunists, exiled nobles, fortune hunters, and lads who just plain love carnage. And all of them should thank the gods the World Wound is still open. Otherwise they'd be busy with robbery and murder, and when they met me in the street, they'd not be wearing noble scowls, but taking off their hats and addressing me as Sir. But Crusaders are guided by their duty and loyalty to the Queen, not money. The dwarf waves away your words. One more excuse for why. Out of all the professions they chose, the one that gives them the right to kill, and as for excuses, they're like a hole in your ass. Everyone's got one. Okay. You know, you're the first among my clients to ask such questions. Tell me about your craft. Like any master of his craft, I can talk for hours about the subtleties of my trade and my finest works. Or would you prefer to test me yourself? What's the most important thing in an assassin's work? The grey boy chuckles. The first rule of an assassin: bring the head back with you. Seriously though, tactics and equipment are what matters. The winner isn't the strongest, but the one who strikes first, so long as that's also last. When I get a job, I don't rush into things. Let the victim know they're being hunted. Let them reinforce their guards, trust no one, and fall into paranoia. And only when the victim is exhausted, at the end of their tether, do I come in to wish them sweet dreams. It might sound funny, but believe me, no one's laughing in that room. Are you haunted by remorse? Not at all. I've met a lot of good people, but many of them had a generous price on their heads. Everyone is a thorn in someone else's side. For some reason, folks imagine the good lads have fair right to ruin the lives of the bad ones, and not the other way around. But it's only the morals of the majority that determines who's good and who's a villain. And those morals shift every day. I've been to many different places, talked to many different people, and the morals were different everywhere. Lords, judges, and we need to go lawful. Otherwise we're going to lose our angel and paladin status. I want to go good, but we need lawful. Lords, judges, and priests should deliver death sentences, not you. I've known a lot of lords and judges and priests, and compared to them, I'm a saint. I've got no illusion that justice works better in their hands than mine. You must value your reputation a great deal. Greybor nods with dignity. Of course, in my line of work, reputation is everything. It keeps away the random fools who are looking for a fight, and the right people know I can be trusted. Anyone who has no care for their reputation is no better than a frog-eating kobold. There's no doing business with those hacks. The best you can do is use them for a job and then kill them afterward. Whereas I, as a professional with a name, demand respect from the client. Tell me about your best murder. The most difficult one was a professor at the Clockwork Cathedral in Absalom. The very existence of the wizard mechanic was a secret. As this wizard mechanic. And almost nobody knew his face or his name. Hunting him down was a symphony of violence and hard tactics. I had to sneak through his secret underground palace that looked like a wind-up dollhouse put together by a psychopath. No rational mind could have invented such intricate traps, and there were mechanical cutlass spiders everywhere. They nearly took 2 fingers and an ear. The professor was a dangerous bloke. Day and night he wore a deadly mechanism as a sort of armor, which made him look like an 8-legged, steam-spewing winged monster, but I came prepared. A tomb raider from Osirion had taught me how to avoid traps. And I opened up his armored suit with a lick-toed goblin sword. It's not even a sword, more like a giant can opener. I used them to pull fallen knights from their armor to devour later, but I digress. I tore open his armor and saw his true form. Don't ask me what it was. I'll just say it was very unexpected. The mechanic went berserk and attacked me with incredible force. He was too much for me and I had to flee. The fool thought he'd won until he'd realized I'd reassembled all his traps into a giant death machine. 2 minutes after I escaped, his palace turned into a cloud of dust. Without his immaculate armor, my mark was sent on his merry way to... Well, I suppose he's on a plane for broken golems and music boxes. Do you worship any of the gods? It's my family's way to worship Torag, but he's not my god. Many craftsmen venerate Torag, and I consider my work a craft, but Torag's priests also say that he abhors murder. Either way, I name another god as my patron. Nord Godbear, the god of dark and unlawful actions. He and I, we have an understanding. Nord Godbear's Black Fingers is my patron. Unlike many of the other gods, he himself was once mortal, which makes him honest. His teachings are built upon the grim truth of the streets that raised me. Nord Godbear will not try to fool you. He will never demand that you achieve perfection. After all, everyone knows that he is not perfect himself. Countless psychopaths and other scum worship him too. Butchers who've conducted mass murders call him Father Skinsaw. Boneheaded street vermin thank the Grey Master for a bunch of coins they've managed to wrest away from a passers-by, and of course the most despicable of them all, those who praise Nord Godbear as the Reaper of Reputation. Those disgusting, rotten rats. Politicians! I have no more questions. Arta, what do you think of your new powers? The dwarf glances at his hands. They're strong and firm and abnormally lean for his race. A nice bonus, my career is in for upturn. Who knows, maybe one day I'll pull off a truly mythical job, a deity or a demon lord or something of that sort. Do you like working for me? After some thought, the dwarf offers you a slight smile. Yes, I like you, Commander. You don't keep me from doing what I do. You don't try to preach at me, and you act with precision and competence. I respect that. I want to know more about your last client. He decided to remain anonymous, but I suspect his name is Willidus. I'd already struck off a few lesser demons for him, and later in Kenabres a stronger one. And in the battle for Dresden, the client insisted I kill the demon with the dagger he gave me and tell the wretch that Willidus said hello. According to my client, one stab would be enough. But it turned out differently. The demon... What the heck? The demon survived. What was that noise? The demon survived, a stain on my reputation. I don't know why he got it wrong. Simple incompetence, or did he set me up to fail? Either way, I'd love to have another chat with this Willidus. Or we can stop here. So... that's everyone, right? We talked to the tavern keeper. No one else here, noble citizen, blah, 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 more blah, okay. We have a Triceratops. Why do we have a Triceratops? How did he come here? Why do we have a ring that can summon a Triceratops? I mean, I don't mind terribly. It's just odd.
Let us press on.
Are we going for the exit? Most definitely. Talk to everyone. Except the hand of the inheritor, but we don't really need that, right? Oh no, Lady Konomi. I want to talk to her. Okay, we're not entirely done yet. I mean, we did pass the 30-minute mark, but I don't care. Where is she anyway? What is that? The names of great crusaders and their closest companions are commemorated on this wall. Oh, that's a beautiful idea. Lady Konomi. Okay, yeah, that's a story for another episode. Okay. Oh wait, 2? Eh? Names of great crusaders. Illustrious crusaders of the past and their companions. Desiderium. Mysterious benefactor of the crusade, nothing is known about them apart from their name. Cold Carnage. A fearless researcher from Numeria who joined the crusade and fought against the demons using mysterious Numerian weaponry. I mean, this is why this game is glorious. Usually in a game you would have one option, one name, one story. In this game it's like, you know what? 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 14... 3, 5, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. You can add that one up. And for every one of these, you get information. You get a panel, you get text, information. It's just scope of this game. Ay. Alrighty, so next episode, Lady Konomi.